This is your sports TV station in Lorain, WLCS TV 20.
Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new season of Sports Scene on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. I'm Tim Alcorn. It's hard to believe that the 2014-15 school year is upon us, and of course, a new school year means a brand new football season, and of course, here in the city of Lorain, it means a brand new head football coach of the Lorain High Titans as Dave McFarland takes over at the helm to lead the guys out on the gridiron here in the 2014 season. And speaking of Dave McFarland, he's our very first guest for our very first Sports Scene show for this fall. And Dave, first of all, congratulations on being named the head coach of the Lorain High Titans. Obviously, it's been a few months since you were officially announced, but all in all, how's the process going? You getting to know these kids and these young men getting to know you?
Well, we're excited about it. We've been excited about it since we took the job. Our first priority has been academics. It will be academics. So right now the kids have they've been towing the line. They've done everything we've asked. We've got over 100 kids out.
Wow.
We've got a great freshman team with a lot of kids that are on the honor roll, which makes us proud. And we have a solid JV team that's gone up in 3 scrimmages and really put the lumber to some people, including St. Ed's. And then our varsity team, it's a little different story because we've got they've had 3 different coaches, so it's harder for those kids. There's a lot of change for those kids and a lot of habits that we'd like to see done differently. So, but all in all, we're very excited about our young people.
Dave, I'm sure when you and Brian Corey reached that agreement that you would be named the head coach, you had some goals in place, short-term goals, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, until you got ready for the scrimmages, for the 2-a-days. How many of those goals have been met? Just those initial things you wanted to accomplish with this football team?
Well, our number 1 goal was establish a freshman football team. They didn't have freshmen last year, and establish our culture in the freshman football team. So right from Jump Street, that's been a point of emphasis. And like I said, we've got 40 plus freshman football players. Over 32 of them are on the honor roll. And so that creates a culture that will feed us in years to come. We have probably 7 freshmen that in years past might be starting on the varsity team. They get to be freshmen. They get to play on a freshman team. And because I'm an older coach and our staff's older, we're not giving into the temptation of moving them up. And they get to be kids, and they learn to win, they learn to do the right things in school. And so we're real excited. That was our first big priority. If we're going to change things in Lorain, I don't have any magic. You got to create a program, and it starts with the young kids, and that's where our focus is. We've also taken our sophomores. They practice completely separate from us. We have a big JV team of about 35, 40 kids. We 2 platoon. They're all getting coached. And like I said, they've had great success in the scrimmages. And that's really where the measuring stick is right now for Lorain football.
You say you don't have a magic answer to building a football program, but obviously you've done something right, Coach, to get all these freshmen out. What are you selling them? What are you telling these 9th grade young men to say, hey, come out and play football for Lorain High?
Well, our big point of emphasis back in the spring and was just come out and see what we're about. We have a couple camps that we don't charge the kids anything. See what the coaches are about. You can tell a kid you're going to do X, Y, and Z, but they might not believe you. And we got to build a relationship with them, and they've got to build a relationship with us. But they need to see the coaches and how we coach and how we treat people. And be honest with you, we've got a group of men as coaches that have all committed to football is second for us at Lorain right now. It's about treating these kids with dignity and getting them to do the right things in the classroom and our community. That has to be more important right now than anything we do. Well, and then the wins will come.
Well, let's take a moment or two and give some credit to those guys on your staff. As you very well know, a longtime head coach, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. I know Bill Grooms has to be with you, because if you say Dave McFarland, you say Bill Grooms, they go hand in hand. But
yeah, I want to end that, but that's all right.
Bill, make sure you're watching this.
I keep trying to fire him. I like a bad penny. But anyway.
But aside from Groomsy, who else you got?
Bill's a great guy. He's been around. And like I said, when you're first-year coaches, you get a kid maybe in trouble, you're going to play him anyway because he's a good player. We've sat a couple kids in some scrimmages. We really want to emphasize those things, and we've got men that buy into that philosophy. Mike Akers and Gary Huff are 2 longtime Lorain guys, and Bill and I. So that's the core of our staff. They're older guys, and then we have quite a few younger guys that are coaching with us. But Mike is a great defensive coach, and Gary, and the four of us kind of got together if we were going to do this or not, and we all kind of agreed that the philosophy has to be that while football is important and winning football games is important, it can't be the most important thing to us. The most important thing to us has to be the young men that we're working with, being good role models, mentoring them, helping them find a trade, a skill, get to college, and get them to understand the importance of being men of great character.
Dave, I was talking to a head coach recently, head football coach, and I talked to a lot of them in my job at WEOL, and he said, you know what, Tim, being a coach is coaching young men, whether they're inner city, whether they're suburban white, whether they're middle class, whether they're rich. Kids are kids. You have to coach them the same way. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. I do agree that kids are kids, and I've never had trouble with kids anywhere I've been. I think kids need, once they respect you and they see that you care about them, they're going to respond. I do think things are different from school to school. I don't think Avon has kids that are walking. Jeremiah Pagan was walking 2 hours from the south side of Lorain at 4:30 in the morning to get to two-a-days. Okay, and I don't think anybody at Lorain's doing that. We got kids that are, sometimes we've gone out, coaches have gone out, my wife's gone out and just bought food, and we're giving snacks. We've got a young man who is in tears because he missed practice because his mom didn't get home and says, you got to watch the kids today. And I mean, that's not his responsibility at 14 years old. But on the other side of the coin, I don't want to paint a story. We have awesome kids and awesome parents and an awesome community, but I don't know you can just paint with a broad stroke that every school's the same. I think kids are the same.
Right.
Once you get them here, I think they're all the same. But Jeremiah was walking 2 hours at 350 pounds, and I started picking him up in my little car, so I got to get new shocks. I'm going to send Corey a bill for my car, but I do think once you get them here, they're all the same. But you have to understand sometimes that you might have young people that you got to have some compassion for and help them get to where they're supposed to be, and then demand the same things you demand at Avon, we have to demand at Lorain once we get them here.
And I think that's the point that Coach X was trying to make, that once you get them out here on the field, you've got to coach the same way. You can't change your philosophy. You can't change the way you handle young men simply because of the environment you're in.
Right. No, we're hard on them. We coach the same way we coached everywhere. And at practice, we're pretty tough. And games, we're there to support them and encourage them. And, over the years, we've had a little bit of success. And so that's a philosophy we've always used.
Take me through these first few months. Has there been anything that has surprised you, or because of your background and because of your experience, your resume, has it gone pretty much the way you thought it would?
Well, I'm excited. I think it's gone very well. The kids have responded. The kids are working hard, so I'm excited about our young people. What the difference, I think, for me right now, because it's a new team, is how are we going to respond when those lights come on Friday night? I feel good about the kids. I feel good about their learning curve. I feel good about their performance on the practice field. And you got to translate that now. Things change real quick when those lights go on and everything speeds up. But I couldn't be any happier with the community support. We have awesome parents. They're out here taking care of our young people. Our kids have been awesome. So it's been exciting.
You mentioned earlier, you used the phrase, I'm an older coach now. You seem pretty young to me, Dave. But
31.
But you said I'm an older coach. What has those past experiences taught you? The stops at Oberlin, Elyria Catholic, Berea. What has that experience taught you?
Well, when you're first getting started, your ego is a part of it, and you want to win, and you've got a great player, and you're going to find a way to get him on that field. Our message is real clear with our young people here, that character counts at Lorain right now, and we'll sit. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be the best player from last year. We're going to do it our way. We're not going to play, and we're also going to treat you with great respect. So, maybe some of that early yelling and some of that, maybe, hey, I'm going to play that, I'm going to overlook that because he's a great player. When you get older, you start to realize that in the long run, you got to do things right from the beginning. And that's why I said the freshman program is so important to changing things in Lorain, because if they can have success there in the classroom first, and we don't have a lot of discipline problems in the freshman class, and then they have success on the football field, that gets rid of your distractions in the next couple of years.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about some of these scrimmages that you mentioned. I'm sure you went out and tried to scrimmage some teams that were going to test the mettle of your football team, just to see what you had, to see what your team was made of. What they show you as you get ready now for the lid lifter on Friday night.
Well, it's hard when you come in late, or you get hired. You got to find scrimmages, and people have scrimmages. But we scrimmage St. Ed's, and they're pretty good. And
usually,
yeah. But that was good for us. We went over there. Our kids were kind of in awe of their facilities and stuff like that. And then we went over to Amherst, and I think they were doing a nice job. They're improved, and I was real happy with our kids. I thought they took a big step from St. Ed's to Amherst. I thought we really improved. And then last Friday we were over at Brookside. Our defense played really well. The lights came on. Our offense kind of sputtered, self-inflicted wounds early, and then when they settled in, they looked pretty doggone good.
Has there been any single part of the game that has really opened your eyes, be it offensively, defensively, where you went, wow, we got something to work with here?
Well, I think we've got some nice athletes. I think they're buying in. I think the big thing right now is getting them to understand the transition between series, getting over to the bench, making an adjustment, and instead of coming over upset that we didn't score or something happened and being all bent out of shape, coming over and saying, it's okay, we can fix everything. Everything's fixable. But it's only fixable if you have a winner's attitude. You can come over, you can listen, you can explain what you're seeing on the field, and we can make adjustments. We could be a pretty good football team.
Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball before we take a break here. Some things on the offensive side that either you've seen or that you hope to see upcoming in the first couple of weeks of the season that you think this team will be able to do well.
Well, I like our offensive line. Eddie Hall's done a nice job with our line. We're pretty physical up front. And, of course, we have Eddie Williamson. We're going to be as good as Eddie is. I mean, he's making a lot of decisions with that ball, throwing the ball around and doing stuff. And if he can take care of the football for us, he's a dynamic player. And if he can be patient, we're going to be a pretty good football team. That's a lot of pressure on a young man, but he is our leader, and he is the quarterback of our football team. At our receiver and running back, we have plenty of kids that can play in all those positions. So really, our line and Eddie are going to be the key to our success.
You started that comment by saying physical. I know for all the years that you and I have talked on the radio with the forecast show and the like, you just love that term. You think it defines football in its essence. You have to be physical. Is this a team that will have some physicality to it?
We're physical. I'm real happy. We weren't physical at first. And then we were kind of a random physical, maybe almost a late hit physical. But I am very happy with our young people. I think that if we can stay within the bounds of the game and fly to the ball and play fast. If we play fast, we're going to be a hard team to stop. Now, if we're thinking and catching, we're not going to be a very good football team. But I thought against Brookside we played much faster and we were much more physical. We've gotten a little more physical each week. So I'm happy with where we're progressing.
Without getting too football techie and intricate for the average fan that's watching right now saying, well, I know basic football, describe what you think the offense will be or what it will look like for fans who come to George Daniels.
Well, shotgun snap, we'll have 2 receivers, we'll have 3 trips on one side, we'll have 2 backs in the backfield, 1 back in the backfield, sometimes we'll be an empty. So, that traditional spread that's going around. But we still want to power people, we still want to be able to get the ball vertical downfield, and like I said, we've got some really nice running backs. Carlos Chavis and Dontravius Hawthorne and Sherman Saunders are kind of all competing for that job. And then you put Eddie on top of all that. It should be pretty wide open horizontally and vertically on the football field.
So without sitting here with a grease board and drawing a play up, does the spread offense, that shotgun look as you described, Dave, does it still allow you to play that power football game? Has it evolved now that it's not necessarily just thrown it 80% of the time?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's what we do. We're a power football team, so even in the spread, we block everything like an old wing T team, and we might be wrong. I don't know. I mean, the language keeps changing. I get back into coaching. Everybody's got all these new names. It still looks like a 52 from 1970. So I don't know all the jargon. I just know that we're going to be physical and sound, and we got to take care of the football.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll talk more with Coach McFarland about the Titan team. We'll switch sides, talk a little bit about the defense and the upcoming season, the 2014 year about to kick off. So stay with us. Dave McFarland, the first-year head coach of the Lorain High Titans, our very special guest to kick off pardon the pun, this year's edition of Sports Scene. Stay with us on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
Inspiring city and campus. Inspiring people. Inspiring creativity. Inspiring hands-on learning. Inspiring global experiences. Inspiring traditions. Be a Buckeye. Inspire.
Is your child's sports performance inconsistent? Does she seem to be a few steps behind the soccer ball? Is he swinging early or late at the baseball? An eye coordination problem could be at the root of your child's difficulties. Vision screenings can be misleading because they are not designed to test all of the visual skills necessary for sports performance or for reading and learning. For more information on sports and vision, visit the website for the College of Optometrist and Vision Development at covd.org.
Welcome back to Sports Scene, WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. Tim Alcorn, joined by first-year head football coach of Lorain High, Dave McFarland. And Dave, the guy behind the camera, you're going to get to know this very, very well. His name is Joe Bach. He says I don't mention him enough when we do these shows, so I always spell it out for the fans. It's B-O-C-K. You got that, Dave?
I got it, Joe Bach.
B-O-C-K. So Joe Bach handling the camera, doing a great job. Gorgeous day here at George Daniel Field as we talk Lorain High Titan football. Dave leading the troops as he takes over as the first-year head coach. Dave, before the break, we were talking about the offense. Let's shift side and go over to the other side of the ball. Defensively, what can we look for from Lorain High this year?
Well, we got to play fast and we got to play physical, and that's the whole secret to our success. Well, you know, when you talk about scheme, we're going to do what everybody does. We're going to be in an odd front and an even front, you know, some zone coverage, some man coverage. But, you know, we got Mike Akers back there and Gary Huff have come over. They're Lorain guys. They've been all over just like Bill and I, and they're good coaches. And like Bill and I, they want us to play fast, and I like what we're doing on defense. But again, in that first scrimmage or two, it seemed like our kids were catching and looking, and against Brookside, we played fast.
For all your years as a head coach and the various stops that you've had, is it generally picked up quicker on one side of the ball than the other as far as what you're trying to implement offensively or defensively?
It seems like the defense is easier. It seems like it's less complicated, maybe less to remember. So, again, we got to get them to stop thinking. They've got to play fast, otherwise any speed we have is eliminated because they're thinking too much. So that's our point of emphasis right now.
And obviously a lot of repetition is what makes that happen, where you just naturally react to a play rather than think and then react.
Right, and we've had a great two-a-day session, and we've had great scrimmages. The kids have responded. You'll see some stickers on the seniors' helmet. We gave them attendance stickers, and our seniors made it every day, and we pushed them hard in two-a-days, so we've gotten the reps.
Let's take a minute and just talk about senior leadership, because I know that's something you're counting on. You mentioned the freshman class. You've got to build from that freshman class, and yet I'm sure you come in going, we've got to have some seniors that can help us out there, kind of coaches on the field per se.
Right.
Who are you getting that senior leadership from?
Well, Aaron Neal, who played last year, I think, at inside linebacker, is a strong safety for us, and he's providing a lot of leadership, a lot of intensity, and he's a physical kid. Rashad Berry, obviously everybody knows about Rashad, and Rashad's a defensive end, a linebacker. We're going to try to move him around to utilize some of his athleticism. But, you know, all the kids on that defense, Robert Orsler, Perry Mincy, we've got a whole group of kids over there, and they're the leaders when you talk about hustling to the ball and playing fast and making sure you're disciplined, who's got contain, who's got the counter. So we're real happy with all the seniors on that side of the football.
Dave, as you and I sit here and tape this program for WLCS, still a few nights away from that opening night against Midview, a place that you know well. You spent some time down there as an assistant coach for Bill Albright. But what are some things you'll look for in that opener, things that are different about opening night that perhaps you won't see weeks 2 through 10?
Well, it's the first Friday night. Everybody's going to be excited. There's going to be great energy across the state of Ohio, across the country. I mean, it's, you know, even us old guys, the first time you walk in a stadium on a Friday night, you're excited. You kind of want to go back for one play, maybe, you know. So there's a different kind of an excitement, and the beginning of the game is so crucial that we come out and we play fast and we take care of the football, because so much can happen so fast. And when I'm talking about not making mistakes and those kinds of things, it's almost better just to come out, get a couple plays in, and punt the ball, whatever might be the case, and just get into the game. And then you can go, because it just takes a little while on that first Friday night to settle in.
And you mentioned punting the ball. I guess that was an area we neglected when we talked about your team, offense, defense, but I know you're a big special teams guy. It's a third of the game and just as important as the offense and the defense.
Well, we feel good about a lot of our special teams, but we have not done a good job with finding someone that can kick the ball off. Eddie's a good punter, and we feel really good about our punt team. We feel good about our punt return team and our kickoff return, but we're really concerned about making sure we can get the ball down there and change field position. So that's, again, that'll be a point of emphasis with our younger kids, making sure we're developing some guys that can punt and kick.
Coach, we mentioned the opener at Midview, and then you go over to Elyria. And I know for Lorain County football fans, and you're a Lorain County guy, you've been in this area a long time, you just say Elyria, Lorain. Lorain, Elyria. And that'll get the blood pumping a little bit. I would imagine, I know you don't want to look past Midview, but I would imagine just Lorain, Elyria back on the schedule. That's exciting.
Well, what a way to start the season.
That's true.
You know, I'd like to give a little shout out to Mr. Corey for putting us on the road 2 games in a row. Now, it's all good, but it is exciting. It's exciting for our kids. They play in 2 games that mean something to the county. And I'm not sure when the last time they played in a game that really meant something, that there was some genuine excitement, some genuine interest, and our kids are embracing that excitement. They're all wondering why I'm over here and not over at practice. So, you know, there's good excitement, and like you say, we just got to take care of our business, do what we're supposed to do, and then we'll see how things play out.
How will success be defined for you this year?
Well, I let my wife do all that. Whatever she tells me. So
I meant as the head football coach of Lorain.
I know. Well, when the season's over, she's going to say you stunk it up or you did a good job. No, you know, nothing goes. It goes right back to when Corey and I first spoke. The first measurement has to be: did we take care of the sophomores and JV kids like we said we were going to do? Did we take care and build a freshman program? I mean, that's got to be the first thing. Obviously, as a coach, we all want to win at the varsity level. We want that to be important. But when you're talking about a program, if I'm just here spending all my time with the varsity kids, well, that's not going to build a program. I'm coaching the freshman kids. I'm coaching the JV kids. The varsity coaches are doing a great job of it. So, you know, I think the biggest question is, can we do the right things in school, in our community, and with our young kids, so that we build a culture of men of great character and winners.
Being around high school football a long time in the Lorain County area, I have always felt, and I'm just one person, that Lorain's a sleeping giant. That if this city, this community, this district had successful football, this place, which can be electric when it's roaring, would be absolutely lights out. I would imagine that's part of what attracted you to the job, that this place, if it has success, could be off the charts.
Well, I don't know. I think you're 100% right. There's no doubt. I think what attracted me to the job is, you know, someone said to me, why didn't you take the Berea job? Or it's like, well, it didn't interest me. This intrigues me. It intrigues me why some communities or some teams lose and some win. And back when I played at Elyria Catholic, we just won games because we believed we were going to win. And there's this thing called the self-fulfilling prophecy, which I believe in. And so it's more of a study for me of why do winners win and losers lose? And we're trying to bring that same self-fulfilling prophecy to our kids, that you guys are good. You're just as good as Avon kids or Massillon kids or St. Ed's kids or anybody else. And you've got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in your teammate. When something goes wrong, you know, winners come off the field and they know they're going to fix it. They're not upset. They're not worried. Losers come off and you would think the world's coming to an end. So, you know, I'm curious as to why they've struggled, and can you change that around by getting a group of coaches that care about kids, believe in that self-fulfilling prophecy, and really, you know, they say it, the old adage is you got to have kids of good character, good kids, and then coach. But most of us, when we're young, are getting good athletes, and we're overlooking characters.
Right.
So, you know, we're really trying to I think there's awesome people in Lorain. There's awesome administrators, awesome teachers, awesome kids, and we're trying to get a focus on those great kids that we have and get them out on the football field to represent our community, and eventually they're going to start winning some football games.
And real quick before we let you go, I read a nice article in the Chronicle-Telegram, I know that's the Elyria paper, but about this study that you're trying to put together as far as kids and success and what makes success happen. Take a minute or two before we wrap up and talk about that, Dave.
Well, I was thinking about getting a PhD, and then my wife told me I wasn't smart enough to do that.
I think.
No.
I hope your wife doesn't see this show, by the way.
She's all right. I'm lucky, man. 32 years she's put up with me. I'm pretty. She wants me to coach because I'm out of the house. So all right, but anyway.
Well, I do play-by-play.
You know, like I said, it intrigues me. Why do winners win and losers lose? And why do we spend so much time on paying these guys all this money to train a kid in the weight room, or soccer skills, or football skills, or smack basketball? I mean, just think of what we're doing with our young people.
Right. And
yet if we would put that energy into the ACT scores, into academics. So that's just something that also intrigues me, that maybe we got the horse before the cart. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And then that just kind of came out. I mean, he made a nice article. It was bigger than I thought. I mean, that was very nice. But really, you know, it's what we're trying to do here. And I do follow. I have a group of quarterbacks, receivers from Strongsville all the way out to Vermilion that I work with, and I follow them. We talk about academics. We train year round. So that's been something that's been fun.
I think it's awesome.
All right.
I think it's awesome. You're the head coach of Lorain High. Congratulations. I wish you nothing but the best.
All right.
Dave McFarland, our guest on the very first edition of Sports Scene for the 2014-2015 season. And if Joe Bach will allow me, I'm just going to get personal here for just a moment. The guy who got me started on Sports Scene many, many years ago, Bob Quinlan, passed away during this off season as far as the school year was concerned. Bob was a great guy. He was Joe Bach's predecessor. He will be deeply missed. But Sports Scene, a result of all the hard work that Bob Quinlan put in. So rest in peace, Bob. You were one of the very, very best. Dave McFarland, Joe Bach, Tim Alcorn saying thanks so much for tuning in. Go Titans, and so long, everybody.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools, TV 20 WLCS.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.